Day, the day he crushed the Minnesota Vikings in the Super Bowl 32-14. He's a different-looking man now, older, even more experienced, and he's leading the Houston Oilers. Love your blue is his motto. He led the Houston Oilers a week ago against the Steelers. Though his team lost, he was very good indeed, going to the likes of Johnson. But now he's got that man as a weapon he never had in Oakland. Earl Campbell, number 34, and how he will use him. But tonight, the pair of them must beat a team that always gives them fits. The Browns with Brian Sipe and Ozzie Newsome and Dave Logan. Tonight, the Browns against the Oilers.
Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. 80,000 plus expected tonight in a carnival atmosphere for the Houston Oilers and the Cleveland Browns. This is Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Chevy Trucks and your Chevrolet dealer. New 81 Chevy Trucks. An important step ahead.
The scene speaks for itself. Where it all began. Monday Night Football Fever, September 21st, 1970. And now, in our 11th year, a city battling back and come to life because of Monday Night Football. And a quick word about the two coaches. The Brooklyn connection, Sam Rutigliano, took over in 78. Came after the great disciplinarian, the former Lombardi disciple, Boris Gregg. He makes the game fun for the players. And the opposing coach, the man who brings back Will Rogers, so folksy, yet so crafty, so shrewd, so calculating, knows exactly what he's doing, and boy, he can coach. Now, for more on the Browns, the Giffer.
Howard, like Houston, Cleveland is coming off a big loss, a major loss to New England. They have got to get it together. Defensively, they are suffering a great deal, and we know that Earl Campbell is the best rushing back in all of football. They have a great quarterback. If he can get control of the game early, they will have a chance in this contest. Brian Sipe, tied with Steve Grogan in New England last year with 28 touchdowns. You see it right there. And behind only one passer in the league in yards gained. He has a rookie in there tonight. You know him, Heisman Award winner, Charlie White. In the Rose Bowl, he carried the ball 39 times. Last week, he carried it 4 times, and about 250 yards difference in yardage. Let's go over to Don.
Well, there's a little bit of difference, Art. This fellow right here, Kenny Stabler, is the guy they brought in. They wanted a very consistent, precise passer. However, last week, he threw for 43 times, and all last year, Dan Patrick, the most he ever threw for was 33. Last week also, this young fellow who set all the rushing records for Houston, Earl Campbell, only carried the ball 13 times. He's averaged 22 times carrying it in his career. However, against Cleveland, he's only played them 3 times. He's only gained 108 yards as his top one. That's not bad. I say only. The other 2 times, 71 and 76. I think we'll see this guy carry the ball a lot tonight.
I believe indeed we will, because certainly he's one of the greatest ever come into the game, Earl Campbell. The Oilers will be kicking off, and we'll see Tony Fritz kicking for Houston. And a little man will drop deep for the Cleveland Browns. He wears number 26. His name, Dino Hall. He's 5'7", 165 pounds. And he'll move back and station himself somewhere around the goal line. Fritz, not a long kicker, but he kicks it high. Keith Wright is back there alongside. Keith Wright, of course, a brilliant return man a year ago until he suffered an injury. We're set to go. You can feel the excitement and electricity in Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Fritz kicks it high, kicks it short. It'll be Dino Hall at his 10-yard line. And Dino up in it as he sprawls out over the 25-yard line. It will be Cleveland. 1st and 10, Brian Sipe. We told you about him. A gifted quarterback. He has time to throw the ball. Charles White is in there. They would like a Greg Pruitt. He's still recovering from knee injury. But you do see Mike Pruitt over 1,000 yards a year ago. The most dangerous receiver, Ozzie Newsome, the 3rd-year man from Alabama. Dave Logan, a gifted athlete out on the flank. But Dave Logan suffering from a sore ankle that he re-injured last week in the loss to New England. Set to go where it all began 11 years ago, Monday Night Football. militia man is Reggie Rucker. Toss goes to Mike Pruitt. Mike Pruitt spins and gets out close to the 30-yard line, to the 29-yard line. A gain of 3. And it's 2nd and 7. Defensively, we'll see mostly the 3-4 tonight. They will jump into a 4-3. The veteran in the middle, Curly Coke. The linebackers, a strong, hard-hitting group led by Brazil and Bingham. In the secondary, the man who led the entire NFL in interceptions a year ago, Mike Reinfeldt, anchors that group, but watch number 32, Vernon Perry. Came from Canada a year ago and was superb in the playoffs, you remember. 4 interceptions against San Diego in the playoffs. 2nd down and 7. Handoff is Pruitt again. Big opening. Oh, yeah. Pruitt has the first down out to the 35, the 37. Up into there by J.C. Wilson. And this is what the Browns must do. They must control the ball tonight and keep that Houston offense off the field.
And it is what the Browns can do. The loss to New England, while New England was hot that day, was deceptive. The Browns can move the ball against anyone. They gave the Steelers fits a year ago, and Houston too.
1st and 10, Logan 85, Rucker 33, wide receivers both to the left, side to the air. Fires over the middle. Pruitt has the ball out of the 45. Short of a first down by about a yard, a pickup of 9. It'll be 2nd and 1. Up into there by Greg Bingham.
He got that pass off. Big Elvin Bethea was back there and really gave Seif a good shot. Seif had a good set, good quick set. Over the middle, picked them apart. Their offense has been good for a long time. Their defense, Cleveland's defense, is what's been suspect.
When you played, they used to bend but not break. And they now show a tendency to break.
They'll break a little. A few chinks in the armor.
Week they lost 34-17 to New England, did the Cleveland Browns. 2nd down, a long yard. The ball just short of the 46. Get him called Mike Pruitt. He'll be the workhorse, and Pruitt powering to the 45-yard line of the Houston Oilers. First down, plenty more yardage. And I'll tell you, Mike Pruitt came into his own last year when his running mate, Greg Pruitt, was injured in the 5th game. He was over 1,000-yard rusher a year ago, and he's a good receiver.
You watch that Cleveland offensive line. That'll be telltale in this contest, Don, as you know. Because if DeLeon can contain Culp, the 34 defense designed to defense the run may not be able to do so. Frank?
Rucker goes right. Logan is out left. Newsom the tight end. You see him there, number 82. This is Charles White, his first attempt. The Heisman Award winner a year ago. Upended, sprawl forward, down to the 43-yard line. A gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Upended by J.C. Wilson. It's kind of funny. Charles White, the last time he carried the ball collegiately, he carried it 39 times, gave 247 yards. He carried it 2 times or 4 times last week against New England game 2. It's a little different league.
It was not a happy augury, but it's much too soon to count him out as we look at Will Rogers reincarnate.
Will Rogers, you say, huh?
Yes.
Looks like Bum Phillips to me.
He keeps the game in perspective. He enjoys it. Pump it up and go out on the field and let's play, says Bum Phillips. 2nd down and 8 from the 42-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Flag trying to get the screen off. He does the Newsom. And defensively, a good play by Vernon Perry. They told you about him. He came in a year ago as a Canadian fugitive, if you will, as a free agent. He was absolutely superb, solidified that secondary.
4 intercepts in the playoff game against San Diego. Perhaps the most consequential figure in a game that Houston Oilers had to play without Camper and without Pastorini. And yet they beat the Chargers, and Perry was clearly the MVP of the game in the minds of most people in this country.
Good look at side as he has the obvious passing down, 3rd down and 9. One of the question marks, their kickoff. Field goal man, Cockroft, has a sprained back. He heard it yesterday, and they will try and get him in close. He will be making the attempt. Sight comes the late delayed pass intended there for Calvin Hill, and Rod Brazil was all over him.
And Brazil, Dr. Doom was right there in the area. Was it Brazil? It was Robert Brazil. Calvin Hill's a guy's amazing athlete, and he came in as the #1 pick for Dallas back in Yale, but Brazil was right over him all the way. Didn't have a shot at it. Good defensive cover.
Out comes Johnny Evans on 4th down for the Cleveland Browns. Dropping deep is Carl Roaches, number 85, a rookie free agent out of Texas A&M. He's a little guy, too. There's Carl Roaches.
He says, I'm not little, I'm just short.
He's short in the occupation he's in. He's 5 foot, 870 pounds. Roaches, not a fair catch from the 8-yard line. Roaches still on his feet. Paddling out to the 20-yard line, and Neil will take over first and 10. Let's meet their offense. We told you about Kenny Stabler, the cool cat. He will take over when Houston comes out with their first offensive set, and they'll begin at their own 19-yard line. 19-yard line, the question mark. The Cleveland Brown defense. Their best defensive lineman is out of there tonight, Jerry Shirk. He's being replaced by number 90, Marshall Harris. We'll talk about that later. First and 10, the Oilers. Campbell, behind Tim Wilson. And down goes Campbell, defensively for the Browns. Number 56 was in there. That's R.L. Jackson. And let's meet the offense. Stabler, quarterback, of course. Campbell with over 3,100 yards in his first 2 years. And only carried the ball 13 times last week against Pittsburgh. And, of course, Ken Burrow is missing. If you look at the offensive line, but out of the fight, Billy Johnson has replaced him, coming off knee surgery. And Mike Barber, the big competitive tight end, number 86. We saw the offensive line. There was a loss of a yard. That's played by Jackson, reading it perfectly. Campbell gets the call again. Then at the line of scrimmage once again, tries to get outside. And down at the 20-yard line. Tom Garden came up there to make the stop, along with Clarence Scott, but it was the defensive surge over the left side by Marshall Harris that turned Campbell to the outside.
You saw R.L. Jackson, number 56, make the first tackle. Early. He'll be following Campbell all night.
Look at that, Campbell. I've never seen him hurt. I don't think. He's getting up very slowly over there, Howard.
But their plan is, Cleveland, to use their number 1 draft choice of a few years back who suffered knee surgery in his first year and has now come back to follow Campbell all night, isn't it?
I would assume that's right.
I think he's lost a contact lens.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking around for it.
Earl says, wait a minute, I could see a moment ago.
While the search goes on, let's meet the defense, because it is a problem for the Browns. They've had trouble. There they are. This is what we'll see when they're in their 3-4. Of course, the familiar names, Lyle Alzado. There are their linebackers. On the outside, their linebackers are questionable.
Yeah, Dick Ambrose is good there in the middle, Frank.
Secondary. And you see Tom Darden. He's been around for a while. 40 career interceptions at free safety. He roams the outfield.
Last week, Houston used a 1-back offense with 2 tight ends. Don told you right at the top of the show what's going to happen tonight. Campbell will have many more carries.
Either that or he lost a tooth. Earl Campbell. Third down and 10.
There's that single back.
Rob Carpenter comes in, number 26 for Campbell. This is Billy White Shoes Johnson in motion. Stabler on the third down. Fires incomplete, intended to Johnson. And Houston will punt.
They looked pretty ragged that first series of downs. Nothing really worked too well for them.
I'll tell you, remember a year ago, Dallas came in here. We thought Cleveland had no shot. When Dallas left, they left on the short end of a 26-7, and it was a fired-up bunch of Brownies.
And that's the way they are tonight. This, as I said at the top of the telecast, means a lot to this city. It's been a city in distress, and now they're fighting back. And somehow this franchise gives them pride.
You saw Cliff Parsley. He will punt for Houston. Deep is Keith Wright on his own 40-yard line. Parsley, high, short. Wright has an opportunity at the 47. And he swarmed under at midfield, hustling down there with Jeff Gross for the Houston Oilers. So out comes the Brownies offense. They'll have good field position. Right at midfield, 34-yard punt by Parsley.
A Brooklyn connection, Lyle Alzado from Brooklyn, along with Sam Retigliano, the coach, Sheets Ed Bay, and, of course, the owner, Arthur Modell. Gift?
Yes. On defense, Earl Campbell, we are told, lost the false tooth. Good news to Bum Phillips. Cleveland with the ball, just short of midfield. First and 10, their second possession. On first down, sight to the air. Going for Reggie Rucker, and it's almost picked off. Right there with J.C. Wilson.
Got a little pressure that time up in the middle. Had to rush it a little bit, and they threw it late. Coming in from the inside. Not bad. Pretty good pressure. Art Stringer came. That was actually Art Stringer and Ted Washington came in. The ball was a little bit low. Good position out there by J.C. Williams. Almost tipped it up. One of his teammates could have caught it.
Adams comes in, number 80 for the Cleveland Browns. Split out to the right. Second-year man out of Houston. Second down and 10. Inside handoff. Goes to Mike Pruitt. And Mike Pruitt, who has been making yardage up through the middle, picks up another quick 6 yards down to the 43-yard line of the Houston Oilers. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Mike Pruitt, a number 1 draft pick in 1976, really played in the shadow of Greg Pruitt until Greg Pruitt went down a year ago with an injury, and then Mike Pruitt took on the load, had over 1,000 yards rushing a year ago. Mike Pruitt, of course, still on the sidelines. Probably will not see extensive action for still another couple of weeks. 3rd down, long 3. Calvin Hill is in there, number 35. He's a fine receiver. Calvin Hill is open over the middle. Has the first down at the 35-yard line. Up into there defensively by Carter Hartwig, number 36, who comes in as the 5th man in the Oilers defense.
I think few men know Calvin Hill better than you, Don, from old association, but they're on the verge of letting him go. They just couldn't. The man's too intelligent, means too much to a team, and in situations like that one, as Frank has pointed out, becomes uniquely valuable still.
From what I understand from the coaching staff, too, Howard, he has set himself up as a kind of example for the younger players. Nobody outworks him, so that keeps him young, as they say. Still out there working. Good defensive play.
Mike Pruitt met at the line of scrimmage at the 35 by Andy Doris, the defensive left end, and Ted Washington, number 59. Left side of the Houston Oilers line. They started Ted Thompson there a week ago against Pittsburgh. He was injured. They brought in Washington, and Washington had a superb game.
I think one of the things, Frank, you see Curly Culp, who's been around 13 years, his 13th season, there in the middle, on that, particularly on that 3-4 defense that they have. A couple of times tonight, they've set their strongest plays right there at him. They're going to check Curly out, I think, pretty early. What year does the guy finally slow down? They're now into the 4-3, so he's not over the head of the center.
They bring in Stensrud on 2nd down and 10. The reverse to Mike Pruitt. Good open field tackle. Emery coming up from the right cornerback spot.
Now that's the guy I love, Frank. Perry is now recognized. Reinfeldt led in interceptions, but to me, Stemrick is the unsung one in the Houston secondary. He just showed you the one-on-one tackler he is.
So true. Mel Blount of Pittsburgh, you don't hear that much about him because they stay away from him. They stay away from Stemrick. Louis Wright of Denver. They're great all-pros, but they don't get much business over there.
And Mike Haynes, if he ever comes back with New England.
Stemrick is a guy who was in the World Football League at Chicago, and Houston got as a free agent. So somebody's keeping their head up.
Austin 2. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Sight to the air. No blitz by Houston.
He's got somebody wide open.
Wide open is Rucker, and almost picks off. That pass poorly thrown, or Rucker would have had a first down around the 10.
He really had him early, too, Frank. The ball was just not thrown far enough and not thrown quick enough. You see, he's got pretty good time there, too. Brian just set up.
Oh, he was really open.
Yeah, he really was.
Johnny Evans comes in to do the punting. I said earlier that Cockcroft, the field goal kicker for the Cleveland Browns, was questionable tonight because of a sprained back muscle, which occurred yesterday. Carl Roaches is deep for Houston. He probably won't see it. Evans puts it into the end zone. That'll bring it out to the 20. There will be a net gain of 15 yards on that punt following the touchback. And there is Wilson, who broke up that last pass that would have given Cleveland great field position. Ken Stabler comes back out on the field. Earl Campbell is there. Probably sends one false tooth. We saw the score of the first game we ever had here in 1970. Oilers have the ball. Still no score in this game. 5:44 remaining in the first quarter. Campbell pulls forward for about 5, just on his own. That was Tim Wilson, rather, the 4th-year man out of Maryland, who carries the ball occasionally. I think just to keep him honest.
Frank, we just flashed the score of the first game ever played here, and it's a really lovely touch. And you know, he came in to greet us tonight before the game started. The coach of the Jets at that time, the very great Weave Eubank. And how well he remembers it, Andy.
Yeah, you told him not to go too far away, too, didn't you, to stay close? may need him again.
Wilson got 5. 2nd down and 5. Play action to Campbell. Gets Saber. Time to throw the screen to Wilson. Wilson has the first down, pulling out over the 35, close to the 36. And you know, what we came here for tonight, I think it's kind of touching. He picked up a $25,000 check from the NFL charities in his own name and that of Lamar Lundy, both of them suffering from a muscular disease called myasthenia gravis.
And Weeb is giving so much of his time and his life to it, doing a superb job. You want a coach to win a big game? Hire Weeb Eubank.
Houston moves it out to the 35 for a first down. Campbell following Wilson and Campbell. Somehow or other he gets a lot more yardage and he appears to get another 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5.
The key words in what Frank just said, following Tim Wilson, because Wilson is to Campbell what Jim Braxton used to be to O.J. Simpson, except that Wilson does it better. A great lead blocker, Andy.
He's a good receiver, too. That's what they use him for, too, on the outside. As we saw right there, a little quick screen. That was a well set up screen, as a matter of fact. Kind of a deceiving one.
We're speaking of Tim Wilson, number 45. He is a workhorse. And this is Wilson. Wilson tries to get outside. Upended by Ron Bolton over the left side. Gets a yard and a half. It'll be third down and 4.
See him stretch that hand out to give the ball the fullest possible effect.
Yeah, but I would question. There's Charlie White on the bench. He gets lonely over there. Yeah, we'll get it later, Charlie. The thing that you wanted, though, you see Tim Wilson out there, and you want to say, boy, cut up field. He doesn't really have the speed of Earl or those other guys, and he was going to the outside. Just cut up field, give me 2 more yards, let's go back. Could have made a first down.
Short yardage offense now for the Houston Oilers. 3 setbacks. Rob Carpenter comes in. Lined up with Campbell 34. Wilson 45. Carpenter 26. But this is Campbell. Nowhere. And he does not get the first down. Stops short of the 45-yard line. Houston will have to punt in. Houston defensively playing inspired football tonight with 2:53 remaining here in the first quarter and no score.
Well, they really are, particularly against the run. I believe, Frank, you gave me this statistic before the game. Last year, the Browns were 27th in the league in defense against the rush. So you would expect that a team that, like Houston, who has lived with the rush for the last few years, to really eat this thing up. So far, they haven't done that.
Cliff Parsley will punt. Keith Wright, his position for Cleveland at the 15-yard line. Keith Wright, who came up last year as a 5th-round draft pick, was sensational until he was injured in the 5th game. Injured reserve for the rest of the season. There's Parsley.
Funny thing, Frank, they wanted to get rid of him. They tried to. They had no takers. Now he's got the job back. He's been kicking very well.
That's a hell of a snap. And Parsley, short hop one. Nevertheless, it's going to be a short kick. That was...
I don't think I've ever seen a punt like that. That one never got off the ground. Looked like somebody hit it.
David Carter was doing the snapping.
Give me that ball, I'm going to kick it best way I can. Obviously, they got a very good drop, nor he got a very good kick.
And Cleveland, once again, in fine field position. They'll have the ball at their own 43-yard line. We'll be back in a moment.
You know what that means, Skip. Shooting for number 6 means number 6 on Monday night. They've been great on Monday night. The Browns, they're 5-2.
Well, I no doubt.
I would have guessed it, but I had a multiple choice.
First and 10, Cleveland. The ball at their own 43-yard line, no score. Mike Pruitt, he's the workhorse. Piled up short of the line of scrimmage. It was Curly Culp in there initially, and then getting help from his inside linebacker, Greg Bingham.
But I love the point Don made earlier. They're going at Culp. There is a growing feeling around the league that one human body can only take so much. And Curly has been playing that horrendously tough position for so long.
Kind of like, you know, that you see a rookie back there and you'll go after the rookie. Well, on the other end of the spectrum, you see that, well, who's the oldest guy they got over there? Let's go after him, too. So they go after the young ones and the old ones, if they can. You know what I mean?
Houston drops into their 4-3 defense, thinking pass. Second down and 10. Ball at the 43-yard line. Sight fires to Pruitt. Wide open, and Pruitt is inside Houston territory near the 45, first down Cleveland.
You just know about the defensive mix-up somewhere. When Pruitt came out of the backfield, there was no linebacker linebacker there to check him. I would imagine these guys, they have not played that much 4-3 defense. They've been primarily three defensive linemen down, the 4 linebackers in the back. So maybe they're not as used to covering those guys coming out of the backfield.
Interesting scenario going down right below our booth. Brian Sipe, or rather Cockcroft, the field goal kicker, is practicing. He has that sore back we told you about. Meanwhile, on the field, first down and 10. 45-yard climb the Oilers. This is Charles White, and White gets out of trouble. They put him in a big loss, but he picks up a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 8. And there's Cockcroft. Strained the muscle yesterday in a workout.
One of the most consistent guys at his grade in the league. And without him, Cleveland seriously hurt. Robert Evans would have to do the kicking.
Side needs 4 points to hit the 1,000-yard mark. He's been around a while for the Browns, and as Howard said, very consistent. Always up there with the percentage leaders. Second down 9. The ball at the 44-yard line of the Oilers. 1:03 remaining in the first quarter. No score. Play action. Sight complete. Goes out to Logan. He has the first down at the 33-yard line. Dave Logan, a gifted athlete. Not great speed, but he has the moves. He'll battle for the ball, and he comes up with it now.
Sandy, that's an athlete we love. We've watched him through the years.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the speed, as Frank said, but he has superb hands. And he has a kind of maneuverability, the ability to be where the ball is and to avoid the defender.
They call him Gary Collins with speed.
That's right. He is faster than Gary. Gary wore 86, not 85.
On first and 10. The blitz. Bingham misses. Sight. Unloads. Incomplete. Intended again for Logan, and all over Logan was Wilson.
There's a flag way downfield, Frank, back in the secondary. Either offensive or defensive pass interference, I'm sure, all around the 10-yard line.
It's going to go against Houston.
Illegal contact, number 32 defense, first down.
Vernon Perry, the guilty Oiler, the first down will be at the 29-yard line of the Oilers. Wilson, Perry, Reinfeldt, Stimbrey, the secondary for the Oilers. Sight puts Logan and Reggie Rucker both to the right. Rucker 33, Logan 85. Ozzie Newson now opens up, top of your screen. Draw play to Pruitt. And Mike Pruitt battles to the 20-yard line. He'll be just short of a first down.
You bet. One of the things that I think opens up a play like that is to have an Ozzie Newsome as a tight end. We saw him split out way deep. I mean, way wide as a wide flanker. Opens up those linebackers where he can come in, pick up a little draw. Linebackers have to be looser.
That's the end of the first quarter. No score. Cleveland threatening. Will be back short yardage. About a yard and a half to go for the Cleveland Browns as we begin the second quarter. The ball resting right at the 20-yard line. Reggie Rucker split up to the right. Logan to the left. Handoff. Mike Pruitt. He has the first down. The defensive surge takes him backwards, but he does have the first. Take a look at the first quarter stats. It's been all Cleveland.
Cleveland, you see the first down differential, the rushing differential, even the passing differential, and the key differential, time of possession. Yet no score. Houston, thus far this year, has been a slow-starting team. Don't be misled. Trailing the Steelers 17-0. They made it 17-17.
I said that a first down while they're measuring.
Sometimes, Frank,
It's a pity.
it's wrong. Folks don't listen to you.
That's right. And if we had the sideline shot earlier of Stabler and Campbell together, those two renegotiate, in your words, they'd break the bank.
Even the Houston bank. They some offensive duo. First and 10 for the Browns. The ball at the 18-yard line. The Houston Oilers still no score here in the second quarter. Sight. Pruitt. A miraculous catch by Pruitt.
I don't believe
Pruitt inside the 5-yard line. Art Stringer was trying to cover him.
Stringer thought he had that one knocked away.
I don't believe this catch, Don.
I don't think Pruitt thought he had it.
No. He hit it, bounced off his hip. He says, there it is in my right pocket. Don't worry about a thing. I got it. Nice throw. sight, put it right where he wanted, right in his right pocket.
I must say, J.C. Wilson made the tackle, and in the relatively brief span of time that this game has been played thus far, Wilson has been everywhere. Looking very good.
First down, goal to go. Sipe wants the crowd to quiet. White comes in, 25. He's in there with Mike Pruitt, 43. Play action. Sipe on first down. Wide open, Calvin Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Good call by Sipe. Gave it the play action, held the defensive unit for just that fraction. Hill was wide open, touchdown.
85,000 people standing as one. This place goes crazy on Monday night, and Calvin Hill is restoring Bula Boo.
Bula Boo. Well, he was wide open. If anything, it was Greg Bingham's man on the outside 54. He was just so wide open. That's also a good way to throw 28 and 30 touchdown passes a year.
Don Cockcroft, we told you about the troubled back. The holder is McDonald, former SC quarterback of the year ago. Teammate of White, no problem, 7 points. 13:41 remaining here in the second quarter, and Cleveland has struck first.
You see Bingham, number 54, trying to come outside. He just really couldn't get out there. Calvin had a wide split way out in front. You never know for sure what defensive coverage they have on, but if it was the one where the linebacker goes out there, then they had it beat.
And the Browns made it look so easy. That's the scoring drive. On first down, sight to the air to Calvin Hill, touchdown. Don Cockcroft will kick off. Carl Roach is deep, number 85, along with Jeff Grote, the man they'd like to see get the ball, is the little man, Roaches, a free agent from Texas A&M. But this is him, Carl Roaches. And that's why they like to have Roaches get the football. And it was tackled by the kicker.
Yeah, he had bad back at all.
He's funny. He came up to me in the hotel lobby today. He said, Mr. Cosell, you don't know me, and I'm a very little fella. But I'll be in there tonight, and you're going to be surprised.
Well, are you surprised?
Yes, after that.
Roaches rolls it out to close to the 36-yard line. Out comes the Oiler offense. They have not been impressive tonight, but they have been in deep trouble on each occasion they've had possession. Rob Carpenter, number 26, now is in there with Earl Campbell, number 34. Play action by Stabler. Over the middle. Campbell puts his head down and bowls out to the 43-yard line, close to the 44. It'll be second down and 2.
You're going to see more and more of Stabler throwing to Campbell this year, and it relates to Campbell's training program in the offseason. Don, why don't you tell about it?
Well, there's a guy. No, you were actually telling me, but we'll discuss it. But Tom Williams is a guy that was with Houston Oilers. It's taken me too long to tell this story. We'll have to get it in a minute.
We'll get it later.
Yeah, it's a good story. I like it. Threw him a whole bunch of passes. He's learned how to catch the ball.
On second and 2, Campbell the call. First down. But not the big yardage you expect from Earl as he comes out close to the 43-yard line. The Giants, 1-1 of the season against the high-flying Birds, and we'll be there in Philadelphia next Monday night.
Hail to you, Dick Vermeil. What a coach and what a job he's done.
They sure off to a good start, aren't they?
Oh, unbelievable.
They have blown them away. What was it, Denver, and then who did they beat yesterday?
Who?
Philadelphia.
Oh, they got Minnesota.
They murdered them.
Yeah, they got them pretty good.
First and 10, 43-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Play action by Stabler, under pressure, dumps it off screen, and it goes to Carpenter. Carpenter piled up right at the line of scrimmage, driven back, and Stabler got popped. It was Clay Matthews sliding out there defensively along with R.L. Jackson.
Robert L. He's ready, isn't he? Robert L. says,
He is fired up.
you come in my area, I'm going to touch you. Guarantee you he'll get him.
He's been primed for this one. He got off to a most difficult situation. When as the #1 draft choice, broke a leg.
We were here in the Hall of Fame. Remember Howard when he did it that weekend, 1977 as a rookie.
Bad knee, surgery, terrible situation.
Second down 9. Barber fighting, trying to get to the first down. He'll be short by about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1. Lawrence Johnson defensively there for Cleveland.
Don, there is simply no better quarterback, is there, short yardage game. Gilman taught it to Davis. Davis always used it, basically the 14, 17-yard range, and Stabler, the master execution.
Kenny's just done so many wonderful things in his career with that kind of pass, but I do think that he probably more than anybody else has been able to control a ball with the pass. Everybody says you control it with the run. Kenny was able to do it with the pass for a number of years out in Oakland. They're trying to get him to do that here in Houston.
On third and short, naturally, Campbell regains his balance. Gets the first down at the 40-yard line.
That's the kind of run, Frank, that you know good well there's not more than a handful of backs in the league that can make a first down on that kind of situation. He stumbled back in the backfield, kept his balance, still was able to pick up the 3 or 4 yards. The story that we're talking about is that Earl has been criticized for not being able to catch the ball. And it's a good point that hand-eye coordination. Earl's not played a lot of other games, tennis or golf or that sort of stuff, so the hand-eye coordination is not too good. Tom Williams, as a matter of fact, has a little area outside of Houston where he's been throwing about 2,000 balls this offseason, trying to teach him to catch the ball.
On first and 10, Carpenter. Rob Carpenter turns the corner, gets up close to another Houston first down around the 32-yard line.
It's hard to teach him how to run. You know, I mean, you just kind of grow up.
Yeah, but even there, and you told the story exactly right, Don. Even there, what Williams did, and this is why White Shoes Johnson has come back so effectively from those knee surgeries that he's had. It is a hilly area there, and he has them running up and down that hill in the manner that Paul Hornung used to run the steps at Green Bay. And it's helped Earl a great deal in his conditioning and even in his running.
What are you guys talking about?
Well, we got it worked out here. We've got it worked out.
On second and 4, Carpenter gets the call. Nice there. Defensively, number 91, Elvis Frank, sliding out there short of a first down. It'll be third down and 2.
Baseball scores relating to the National League pennant races. Look at what that hot Atlanta team's doing to the Dodgers. Cincinnati trying to get back in it, probably too little too late, but Houston ahead. Houston, an incredible story in baseball because they've held together despite the loss of J.R. Richards.
Interesting situation. They marked the ball at the 33, so it's third down and 3. Stabler at Oakland would have thrown the ball. He has Campbell here. Let's see if he'll run it. He gives it to Campbell. He gets the first down, and Campbell carrying Tom Garden inside the 15 to the 17. First down, Houston.
I wouldn't have to think about that very long at all. Who am I going to give it to on third and 2? Earl.
I just said it takes the pressure off a quarterback, wouldn't you say, Don, to have that kind of a weapon?
I wouldn't know. I bet it does.
You know what Kenny said? He said the year we won the Super Bowl, if I had had Campbell, we would have won every game by 30 points.
We never had the Campbell then, Don.
That's another one of those ifs and buts stories they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, no one has ever had a Campbell before he arrived a couple years ago.
There was only one. There he is out of Tyler, Texas.
He is special. 23-yard line, first down, Houston. They're down by 7. Bob Carpenter gets the call. Gets to the 20-yard line, a gain of 2.5, 3 yards. It'll be second down and 8.
By the way, just to finalize the story of Tom Williams, he used to be a key personnel man with the Oilers, had been for many years. Left the Oilers, now has that place in the Bayou that you talked about. And I'll tell you, while he was with the Oilers, he was responsible for people like Charlie Joyner because he had come from Grambling College, Williams had. He was a heck of a personnel man.
10th play of this drive coming up, second down and 8. Stabler. Barber. And Barber hit by Bolton, short of the first down at the 15-yard line.
Put together a pretty good drive here this time. Mixed up the pass and the run. Kenny hasn't gone really deep. He's going into that first down area for the passes to Barber. Earl.
Notice they've been using the two-back offense tonight, Dandy.
Yeah, they were criticized about that quite a bit last week in Pittsburgh. Even some of the Pittsburgh players suggested that it was not as difficult to defense as the two-backs, and they only had Earl sitting back there. So, hey, you key on that one running back, and we're ready to go.
Well, they stepped it up. They have 3 backs in now as Wilson comes back in with Carpenter and Campbell. Third down. less than 2. Campbell on his own. Look at this. Gets the first down, or very close to it, and what a superb effort.
Don't you love to watch him?
I really do, but I don't like to see him get up
I hope
slowly.
he's all right. He gets
He'll
up
get
slowly.
up. He's like Jimmy Brown in that regard, and we're in the home of Jimmy Brown.
Close enough for the measurement.
Jimmy used to lie there, you'd think he was dead. He'd get up, he'd barely get back to his position. Then he'd get the ball, and Gifford would say, no, not again.
They do not have to measure as Campbell hurdling over. Ron Bolton puts his head down, picks up the first at the 12-yard line. The Oilers down by 7. We have 6:25 and the clock is moving here in the first half. Good hard-hitting football game. Cleveland bending as they've done so far in the past, but they are playing good defense against the offensive-minded Oilers. This is Campbell. Wilson out in front with a good block. And Campbell, look at this. Just bouncing off grounds. Now close to the 5.
Dick Ambrose, and he bounced off of it. Not too many of them do that. Ambrose covers that middle section of that defense pretty well for the Browns.
Gain of 5. It'll be second down at 5. Houston can pick up a first down at the 2-yard line. Then Wilson comes out, and in comes Rob Carpenter. Last week, Campbell carried the ball 13 times throughout the game.
He's already carried 9 thus far today.
Stabler threw the ball 43 times a week ago. They lost big to Pittsburgh. Campbell, clothesline as he gets to the line of scrimmage, does not even get to the line of scrimmage. Taken back. Big number 59, I believe.
Ron Bolton, I think, was the guy that reached in there. Let's take a look. That's number 28 coming around. That's not a face mask. That's just put his arm around his neck and bulldogged him back down, and then he got some help from the inside. I think it's Ambrose that comes up in the middle.
Charlie Hall and Ambrose both closing down. There's a loss of a yard and a half. It'll be third down and 7. Again, Houston can pick up a first down at the 2-yard line. 4:50, the clock is moving, remaining in the half. Cleveland ahead by 7. 3 setbacks. Stabler. Billy Johnson had 6 points. Oh, that's incomplete. Well, he dropped the ball. It was a special play, you know, that was designed for the Cleveland defense. And Billy took his eyes off it. Forget it.
That would have been at least a first down. I think he could have scored 2, Frank. He started running before he caught the ball. Unusual play. Haven't seen that one before.
The least he would have made would have been the first down, the very least.
Well, if he made that first, maybe just a little more effort, he'd have scored, because that was about a yard short.
So the Cleveland defense, whatever the reason, bent but did not break. The Meredith theorem reigns supreme.
Washington.
25-yard field goal. Tony Fritz, Holder, Gifford Nielsen. Fritz puts it through the uprights, and Houston is on the scoreboard. They trail 7-3. 4:35 remaining here in the first half. Good, hard-hitting football game. Stick around. It's going to be fun. It's all over the stadium. It's that kind of a night here. They've been talking about this game everywhere you went around Cleveland today. There was excitement.
There's a lot to that sign. They were the Cardiac Kids last year.
Fritz kicks for Houston. This will be Keith Wright from his 6-yard line.
Got him a hole.
Got him a hole, but he's upended out at the 28-yard line. So Cleveland will take over. 2 long scoring drives. Cleveland using up almost 9 minutes on theirs to get 7. Houston doing the same to get 3. They mark it at the 29-yard line. Out comes Brian Sipe. Cleveland last year 9-7. Of course, the Houston Oilers 11-5 wild card entry into the playoffs. They beat Denver 13-7. They beat San Diego without quarterback Dan Pastorini, and then they lost in the AFC Championship to Pittsburgh. First and 10. Sipe with a lot of time. Screen to Pruitt. He bobbles it.
Just as well. He wouldn't have made anything off that one, I don't think.
Moving out there quickly. Defensively for the Houston Oilers was John Porter, a rookie linebacker out of Oklahoma, a 5th-round draft pick. The believe this Parker, number 57, is in there now. Would have been a number 1, except for a knee problem he had as a junior at Oklahoma. He's in there now wearing 57. Top of your screen for Houston. Second down and 10. Mike Pruitt. Flag is down and Pruitt's down as he rambles out to the 33-yard line.
Holding 54. Offense, second down.
DeLeon, the center. Holding for Cleveland. Second down, long yardage, second down and 20. And this is a good time for the blitz if Houston intends to utilize it. They slip into a 4-3. Bring in the 5th defensive back. That's Jack Tatum. Draw play, Charles White. White stays on his feet and gets out close to the original line of scrimmage for a gain of 9.5 yards. Robert Brazil made the stop on the Heisman Award winner.
But that's a good call, Don. You're not going to get all that yardage back on one play. Percentage-wise, you don't figure to.
No, boy, look at that. He is not that big, but he is some strong 5'10", 183-pounder.
Yes, the only guy that was ahead of him was Dorsett, right?
Yeah, he's right behind Dorsett in just about every NCAA rushing record. Third down, a little more than 10. Sight to the air. Lays it up. Newsome is there, and he overthrows. Back there, defensively, Greg Stemrick. But Sight, had he laid it in there perfectly, that could have been trouble.
Yep, Newsome was past Brazil. There was Stemrick, and he was alone. The receiver was there.
Here's Johnny Evans. He'll punt for the Browns, who are out front 7-3. Carl Roaches drops for the Oilers. Positions himself at his 28-yard line. Last week, Roaches returned a couple for 17 yards. Not too successful against the Steelers or the Oilers. Evans pounds it high, not long. No fair catch at the 34 by Roaches. There he is. And Roaches out to the 44-yard line. The Oilers now will have the good field position. 3:16 remaining here in the first half. 7-3. The Browns over the Oilers.
Tonight here in Cleveland, the great lady of television, Lucille Ball, standing to the left of your screen. As we proceed, rightward, Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. Marvin Davis, who should be in baseball but isn't, leaning in front of Merv Griffin, who's also there. It's a big night in the city on Lake Erie.
And Russ Caruccio is also here. First and 10, the ball at the 44-yard line of the Oilers. They trail by 4, 7-3. Cleveland has the lead. 3:15 remaining in the half. Save it to the air. Complete. Fires out to number 82, Mike Renfro. Mike Renfro, of course, the son of a great All-Pro with the Cleveland Browns a few years ago, Ray Renfro.
Yeah, Ray's a good buddy of mine. He was down in Dallas for a while.
Well, like father, like son, that kid's, he runs precision routes. He's a quality player, was involved in the most controversial play of the year last year. The fans will remember. He's grade A.
Renfro got 3, and we're second down and 7. The ball at the 47-yard line of the Oilers. Quick draw to Campbell, and he explodes up the middle, shakes off a couple of brownies and gets the first down, drops the ball.
They got him.
Cleveland's all over it.
That was Alfredo that came here in the back. Got Earl, didn't see him.
Jarred it loose.
Yes, sir.
And it's Burrell, the 5th man, who comes in there. Brother Lawrence Johnson, the 5th back, and he gets the fumble. Here it is.
From the back, you see Earl's carrying the ball fairly loose. And right there was Alfredo came in from the backside. He didn't see him coming.
And Lawrence Johnson slides over to pick it up for the Cleveland Browns. And they'll have the ball at their own 43-yard line. 2:28 remaining in the half when we return. Nice. It's everyone in the pattern. Has the time and fires incomplete. Off the shoulder pads of Mike Pruitt.
He had Pruitt open on the one side. That was either an extra deep drop by those linebackers. I don't know. That was really a strange looking formation. formation. Man, he had folks open everywhere. He had Charles White out in the flat. He was also open, and Pruitt was open. Linebackers didn't pick up either one of them. But you feel lucky when it hits that shoulder pad and bounces off.
Greg Pruitt comes in for his first action. Number 34, I told you about him, hurt last week. The young man in the previous 4 years had over 4,000 yards rushing for the Browns. Knee surgery after the 5th game a year ago. He wears 34, and this is him. Flag is down, and Pruitt is down after a pickup of 4 yards.
Greg Pruitt closely. And number 34. Just a tremendous runner. Slippery, small, but far more powerful than you'd think. Fighting back from surgery. And he's playing cautiously. The Cleveland camp says he's not yet begun to cut the way he used to.
63. Offense, second down.
Cody Risen holding right tackle for the Cleveland Browns. 10-yard penalty, a second down and 20.
So they say he is being, at the moment, too wary, which is easy to say when it's not your knee that's operating.
I think it does take a little playing time just to work that out. You see White's back in there.
Second down, 20. Draw play. Charles White piled up, surges forward for a couple of yards. It'll be third down and 18. Heading towards the 2-minute warning, and Sipe is already anticipating that. We'll move over and have a talk with the Brownie coaches. And there it is.
Those draw plays are good if they work on second down. They didn't work that time, so we'll have to come back in just a minute.
The Cleveland defensive unit. They have the ball now. Third down and 18. The ball at their own 35-yard line. They have the lead. 7-3 over the Oilers. Type again with all his receivers in the pattern. This is Mike Pruitt. Stimrick beats Pruitt. Pruitt bounces off and gets out to the 40-yard line where he's buried by Greg Bingham and some other Oilers. And quickly the Houston Oilers call for timeout. On fourth down, this is Johnny Evans for the Cleveland Browns. Carl Roaches for Houston at his own 20-yard line. There's the little one from Texas A&M. 1:49 remaining to be played here in the first half. Evans, nice punt. Drives Roaches back to the 15. Looking for the picket line. And sees nothing, lowers his head and gets out to the 30-yard line. 45-yard punt by Johnny Evans. Houston will have the football. They have 1:37 to work with on the clock. Stabler is a master at that. And they have 2 timeouts.
The best at that, using that clock. On that return by Roaches, John Clarkin, number 57, had to make an instant decision. There were 2 men to be blocked. He elected to block neither.
That was a decision.
Oh, Kumkachi.
This is a chance where Kenny Burrow could be used in this lineup very effectively with his speed to go deep. He's injured, not here tonight.
Stabler, screen, Carpenter is setting up. Bob Carpenter has the first down, gets out over the 40 to the 43. Stabler has already called a play in the huddle. Seconds ticking away. 1:20 and moving. That'll be a pass, of course. If he has to, he'll throw it into the ground or out of bounds to kill the clock. He goes to Carpenter again. Carpenter will look to the sidelines, and he finds it out near midfield, stopping the clock with 1:07 remaining in the half.
You're watching an artist at work. I wish you could have seen the Houston Oilers with Stabler during the training season. Bum Phillips was never a believer in the 2-minute drill, Frank, believe it or not. But this year, with Stabler, instead of winding up the practices with the wind sprints, Stabler would just take the team for 6-8 minutes and run the 2-minute drill. And now you're seeing the Oilers in a different manner from when you've seen them before.
Quick count by Stabler. Second down and 3. Stabler, complete. Billy Johnson has the first down, stops the clock at the 45-yard line.
Well, I'm surprised that Bum was not really into that 2-minute drill.
He never was.
Yeah, that's surprising because it's such an effective weapon. It seems to me, I used to always say, why do the guys start change defenses when they've been holding me all day playing the same ones they have? and you get in 2 minutes, the defense, they start dropping all these people off. I'd love to play a whole game of 2-minute drills. That would really be fun.
1:01 now on the clock. Stabler still has a pair of timeouts. First down, 45-yard line of the Browns. Flags fly. Alzado appeared to be offside for Cleveland. Stabler, complete. Renfro, and Renfro's inside the 35, down to the 28-yard line. And we'll wait to check the call. It looked like Alzado was offside. He might have been drawn off. He says he is.
First down, mark for James. 54 seconds. Now go.
Ball at the 29-yard line. Stabler will have called a couple of plays in the huddle. Puts Johnson out to the left, Renfro out to the right. Johnson at the 25-yard line. Piled up there by Lawrence Johnson. Stabler trying to get his troops organized. Sees that he's going to be wasting time, so he uses one of the timeouts.
That's all.
Yeah, you haven't been doing anything lately.
Billy Johnson took that Stabler pass down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. 45 seconds remaining in the first half. One timeout remaining for the Oilers. And Cleveland leading Houston 7-3. Both teams lost their opener.
It's getting harder for the Browns to play in zone coverage down here in this area, so you might get a man-to-man coverage, see a double move by an outside receiver. In and out.
Single step back, Rob Carpenter.
There's your man-to-man. Look out.
Stabler goes down. Defensively, R.L. Jackson.
What a big play. They may be out of Fritz's field goal range now.
Well, you could almost sense that man-to-man coverage coming, which certainly would indicate that there might be a blitz that time. They did send more than one linebacker, and Robert L. was the guy that made it through.
First sack of the night. After the sack, they stopped the clock. They started it again. There's 30 seconds, and the clock is running. Stabler fires. Short, incomplete. Clock stops at 27 seconds. It'll be fourth down.
He had a man open there, Frank. The ball was underthrown. Johnson was there. Just didn't get it there.
Stabler has completed 12 of 15 for 88 yards. Only 3 of the 12 completions more than 10 yards.
Interesting situation. It's fourth down and 16. Tony Fritz is obviously out of his range because they do not send him in on fourth down. The Oilers come up to the line of scrimmage. 27 seconds remaining in the half. They need 16 for the first. That's short of the first. And Cleveland will take over the football at the 25. It was complete to Billy Johnson.
Basically the same pattern that was incomplete the play before. Johnson over in that corner. Did not pick up the first down. You're right.
And R.L. Jackson stays on the turf, shaken up. And see Jackson come in from the left side. All 3 of the linebackers in on the action.
Looked like he just bent his knee back, his left knee. If it's his left knee, he did it himself and hit the ground. Well, I don't think they'll do anything too fancy right now with 14 seconds to go back there over the field. They'll just let this thing go. Earl will go back in. Did he lose a tooth or a contact lens?
He lost a tooth. He had a false tooth that he lost. They searched around. I don't know whether he acquired it or not.
Yeah, it might just make him go a little bit faster.
Really worried about R.L. Jackson. In the contact, it didn't seem possible that he could have been hurt that much. But apparently he was.
Cleveland, the ball at their own 24-yard line. Mike Pruitt gets the call. Big opening. Seconds ticking away as Pruitt gets out close to the 40-yard line. Cleveland will let it tick off, and that will be the final play of the first half. Cleveland over Houston 7-3. Good hard-hitting contact football. Rosheim Bertigliano leading his troops in. There he is, Deb Groth. All right, set to go. The Cleveland Browns playing before a sellout crowd. Sold about 85,000 tickets. I don't know who showed up, but there's not an empty seat that I can see. And playing an inspired brand of football tonight. They did a year ago when they defeated the Dallas Cowboys 26-7. Backrop hits it. again puts Cleveland in good field position, out close to the 33-yard line. And from this point, we anticipate Stabler, Earl Campbell, and Wilson. Wide receivers for Houston, Renfro and Billy Johnson. Close to the 33-yard line. And from this point, we anticipate Stabler, Earl Campbell, and Wilson. Wide receivers for Houston, Renfro and Billy Johnson. Mike Barber, the tight end. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith.
Always exciting when the first half opens up. You want to know, well, what the heck do they do in that halftime? What do they do in those dressing rooms? I would imagine that Kenny says, okay, I've got a pretty good feel what they're going to try to do. He's just got to get more points on the board.
First and 10. Houston, their own 33-yard line. Tim Wilson gets a call. Tim Wilson runs into Marshall Harris, number 90, filling in for an injured Jerry Shirk. Speaking of injuries, Houston operating tonight again. I'll remind you, without their great wide receiver, Ken Burrow, he did not make the trip, I don't believe.
Two very important points. Kenny did make the trip, Frank, at the last minute. I happened to bump into him today. He got his injury in a most peculiar way, and he's out for the next 4 games because his own man, Earl Campbell, banged into his leg.
Wilson got a couple of yards, second down and 8. Stabler put it in the air. Fires over the middle, complete to the tight end who has the first down. Mike Barber out to the 46-yard line, taken there by Clay Matthews, 57, Ambrose, 52. Defensively, for the Browns, they keep shuffling their defensive left end since Shirk is not in there. Either Marshall Harris is in there or Elvis Franks. Henry Bradley is the nose tackle, number 91. Lyle Alzado, defensive right end, number 77. Matthews, 57. Ambrose, 52. Charlie Hall, 59. Those are your setbacks. Bill Cowher also has been seeing action for Cleveland defensively. First and 10. The ball at Houston Oilers, 47-yard line. And Campbell is taken at the line of scrimmage. Surges forward.
Tim Wilson did not keep his feet to make a block that time. You could say a couple of things. Maybe it was a good defensive play. Maybe it was the fact that they played on artificial turf. This one is not. He slipped. Allowed the defensive player, Charlie Hall, to come in there and take a good tackle on him. Campbell.
Sorry, Dandy. A moment ago, you saw an impressive graphic that depicted the beautiful way Stabler diversifies his receivers. Skip.
Second down, 10. Stabler in trouble. Spots the receiver, has to fire it quickly, intended for Billy Johnson, incomplete. Third down, 10 coming up. Not to suspect, though, even though Billy Johnson has the speed, Mike Renfro also, there's short targets out there. Renfro is 6 feet tall. Billy Johnson is 5'9". You have to suspect that Stabler really misses the likes of Burrow. Great speed. He has height, good hands.
Of course, he had a lot of warm-ups with Freddie Biletnikoff, who's about their same size out in Oakland. But I agree, Frank, that big, tall receiver does add a dimension to a passing attack.
Third down, 10. Single setback is Rob Carpenter.
Oh, wow.
Stabler, picked off.
Will be brought back.
Elvis Franks saw the flag. It looked like Alzado had jumped off again.
Oh, that's a really costly defensive penalty, obviously. Oh, boy.
It's a great break for Stabler and for the Oilers because it was on just such a pass play that Namath was intercepted by 52 Billy Andrews. You remember, Don, you were here.
Jackson's come back out on the field, number 56. And we assume what happened was that he pinched a nerve in his neck. It can be terribly painful, and hopefully, as it appears to disappear quickly. But he's back on the field. On first and 10, Campbell gets the call. And over the left side, big opening, look out. Campbell carrying Browning inside the 30-yard line.
Now that's Earl Campbell.
This would be so tempting, I think, to give him the ball so many times. I understand why there was some concern in Houston about, running his legs out. They said, man, they give him the ball all the time. He's averaged 22 yards a carry. But tonight, Let old Earl have the ball. He'll move it down the field.
The cheer you heard was for Cleveland fans who saw Robert Jackson come back out onto the field. Now he's back into the lineup. Hey, if you've ever been hit on the top of the head, you jam that neck down, everything goes numb all over your upper body, and I'm sure that's what happened to Robert Jackson, and he's back in the lineup. Tim Wilson pulling ahead, and he runs into Lyle Alzado, and that's it. He gains a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 9.
Jeff Earl has carried 13 times, as many times as he carried all last week against Pittsburgh. He's gained 59 yards. He can still get his 100.
Oh, he can. He gets those yards, you just can't realize that he's picking them up. He's run slow to the turf, and just when he's going to go down, he squirts for another 2 or 3. Second down, long 8. All inside the 29-yard line of the Browns. Oilers down 7-3 here in the third quarter. Campbell. Look out. Campbell trying to get back inside and get into the end zone, but he's level at the 10. First down, Cleveland.
I got to tell you, Tim Wilson threw a lead block for Campbell there. That was a thing of beauty.
Well, I missed it. Maybe we can get it again on replay. I was really watching Earl run. It was kind of that little fake pitch out to go to the outside, and once again,
I think he's really shaken up this time. He's
I think he is too. You got it. Oh, take a look for your block that you're talking about. How that's Tim Wilson, 45 out in front, and usually that does happen. Yep. Yeah, it really does. That was Don Goody out there. He's blocking on number 50. Earl does carry that ball in kind of a loose situation out with just with his hand. Cuts back on the inside. That's Tom Dart, number 27.
I think he fell on the ball.
I think he did too. Knocked the breath out of him. He was finally. It was that knocked him down in it. I didn't see the guy that made the last tackle. Listen, anyway,
Holding a rib, Frank.
well, that ball, when you land on that ball, that thing is hard. It can poke those ribs pretty good. Knock the breath out of you too.
Campbell gets the first down, close to the 10-yard line. We're in the third quarter with 10:45. The clock now started again. Oilers down 7-3. Rob Carpenter replaces Campbell. Carpenter scores 26. Tim Wilson, 45, stays in. Carpenter behind the surge on the left side. Gets down close to the 2-yard line.
You know, there are some players who never get the big notices.
Here comes Campbell, by the way, back into the lineup.
I'm glad to see that. But Ron Carpenter did a job last year against San Diego when Earl couldn't play and when Pastorini didn't in that playoff game. That'll be long remembered. We have another injury, Frank. The face of pro football, Frank.
But like Don said, the veterans know generally the degree of injury, particularly if they've been there before with an knee injury, and Alzado has.
Alzado can fight. Would have been a great match if he had ever fought Too Tall Jones.
Second down, Houston. Ball on the 7-yard line. Marshall Harris, Elvis Franks, and in for the Browns. Stabler, Castor. Castor is at the 1, and he was swarmed under by the Browns.
That was a pretty good catch. He had to kind of come behind it. Yeah, the ball was a little bit behind
It's
it.
a very important catch for Castor after what happened to him last week.
Let's see if we can pick it up again. They got some time to throw. See Campbell going in the middle. Kenny standing back. From up here, yeah, the ball is a little bit behind him. Now, that's a tough catch for a receiver to make. His speed, all the momentum's going in one direction. Held on to the ball. Now they're set up in a third down situation, and aren't you glad you got Earl Campbell on your side?
Third down, a little more than 1. 3 setbacks. Campbell's in the middle. Carpenter in motion. Wilson.
Reason why, because you don't want to use him on those short yardage things. That's the reason why you glad you got him.
Let him take the whole defense with him and give it to Wilson.
That's it.
Houston takes the lead.
I didn't say you're going to use him. I just said, aren't you glad you had him on your side? You can see Lyle there trying to get that knee, Frank. I think it probably is the knee he hurt last year. And lesions are torn in there. They're stretched out. You never really know the degree of that injury until, hey, you get up and try to play on it again. Houston's taking the lead.
And they use 5 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock. Taking the second half kickoff. Gifford Nielsen will hold for Tony Fritsch for the conversion. We have 9:08 remaining in the third quarter, and we'll be back in Cleveland. After the ball game, crossed up the Cleveland Browns defense at the goal line. Sent Campbell to the left, gave the ball to Wilson. Wilson gets in for the touchdown, and it is Houston 10, Cleveland 7. Set to kick off is Fritz. Deep is Dino Hall and Keith Wright. This is Keith Wright. He's got some room. And Wright turns the corner out over the 40-yard line. To the 43-yard line, and Cleveland comes roaring back. Jeff Groth made the stop for Houston.
And Groth has been on every tackle on a special team tonight and has returned the ball once. He's done really well, a good job on special teams.
The offense, they had enough time to get a little stiff sitting on the bench watching that Houston offense work.
Rich is not kicking the ball far enough, Frank. His ball's not going about the 10 or 15-yard line. It's giving them too much of an advantage.
And he's kicking it too low.
Sipe, the quarterback, number 17. Charles White, 25. Mike Pruitt, 43, the setbacks. Rucker, 33. Dave Logan, 85. Those are wide receivers. This is Mike Pruitt. Hit at the line of scrimmage and moves forward for about a yard. It'll be second down and 9. Mike Pruitt. Bill comes in there with Mike Pruitt. Second down, long 8. The ball at the 45-yard line. In the side handoff to Pruitt, and Pruitt gets into Oiler territory at the 48-yard line. Short of the first down by a yard. It'll be third and 1. Greg Bingham on the stop, and Cleveland comes right back.
Good tough runner. Good tough runner.
There's R.L. Jack.
Good, Robert. I'm glad. That's good. Okay.
I'll bet you were scared a little bit, Robert.
You bet he is.
When you get hit on the top of the head as he did, it just goes numb for a few seconds.
If he wasn't scared, I sure was.
Third down, a little more than a yard for the first. Pruitt, 43, stays in with Calvin Hill, 35.
Little pass.
Play action on third down. Price wants it all. Ozzie Newsome deflected away. Good defensive play.
Great play. Was that J.C. Wilson?
Vernon Berry, the big, strong safety, running stride for stride with Newsome.
Great play.
Boy, he did have him, too. Once again, the ball, the trajectory of the ball was a little, that's just a good defensive play. And that was right in there. The ball, had Perry not been there, the ball would have been caught. He also had a pretty good lead on the man downfield, too. And a wide receiver down there. Willis Adams came in, and he was also open deep.
It was also a great call.
Yep.
Gamble fails, and Cleveland will punt. Perhaps. Down 10-7. Johnny Evans on. And it doesn't turn over. It'll be short, taken by Carl Roaches, and he's pounded at the 20-yard line. Wrestling down there defensively. That'll be marked off against the Browns. You got to give this man an area to catch the football.
That's your buddy Carl Roaches again. He did keep his eye on the ball. Lino Hall was down there. Two of the smallest men on the field tonight. Hooking up. Call it a draw if you want to.
As you know, Giff, it's not measured in yards. It's in terms of opportunity to catch the football.
And it moves against Cleveland 10 yards.
Opportunity to make a fair catch. 15T was the first down.
So Houston now has field position.
Yeah, they picked up quite a bit on that. The short punt. The penalty on top of it.
They'll net about 15 yards on that punt. Has brought the Oilers out on top here in the third quarter with 7:30 remaining. They lead 10-3, or rather 10-7. Ball at the 35-yard line. On first down, Faber with the play action. Flags are down, trying to go to the wide receiver. Renfro knocked away by Bolton, almost intercepted, but again a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Kenny stayed in there a long time. That's an invitation to holding. And he did not go for the short pass. You just saw the indication. Now let's listen for the call.
Now inside the 25-yard line of the Oilers. Houston will entertain Baltimore next Sunday in Houston. Kansas City will be here for the Cleveland Browns. Campbell just exploding through the middle of that line, and look at him. Campbell down to the 42-yard line. Gain of about 18 yards.
He is now at 93 yards and very close to his 100.
What, does anyone accelerate like like this?
I don't think anyone has come along with the size and the speed that Earl has. You see, he didn't really make much variance that time. He says, Tom Darden, there you are, and you're in my way, so I've got to go ahead and run over you. And there's very few backs that can do that. I think that's the unique thing about Campbell. He's so big and so fast.
And he gets the Oilers back in field position, second down and 4. They mark it at the 41. Campbell again, behind Wilson. Wilson with another fine block. And Campbell steps out of bounds, but not until he picks up the first down, close to the 48-yard line. If we could get a replay on that, you'll see Tim Wilson doing a very difficult thing. Let's take a look at it. Watch 45. He makes this play go.
Even as you speak, Frank, it's amazing what we got here on Monday Night Football. Look at Alzado back in. There's Wilson out in front, and that is a good lead block. That is terrific. Comes back on the outside, and once again, Tom Darden is the guy that's in Earl Campbell's way. He says, this time, Earl, let's just walk out. Let's just get out of bounds and talk about it.
Wilson's been doing that all night, as I said earlier. He is to Campbell what Braxton used to be to Simpson, only does it better.
First down in Brown's territory. Wilson gets the call, pile up on the right side. As you can see, Alzado back in the ball game, in on that stop along with Henry. Loss of a couple, will be second down and 12 as the official attendance listed at 80,243. So a few stayed home to watch it. TV blackout lifted in the area. Renfro wide open. He'll have a first down.
I would like to think that was a automatic that occurred at the line because you saw Kenny last minute holler something out to those two wide receivers, and I think he was trying to get the ball off quickly because they were in a defense where Renfro wouldn't be covered. He wasn't covered out there in that short zone. Whether it was or not, I don't really know, but still no one was there. Big Mike Renfro.
Tippers flared just a little bit between Billy Johnson and Tom Darden. They have marked it, and he may have come up just inches short. Now he has the first down. Inside the 39-yard line, the Houston Oilers working on the clock, which says 5:32 remaining in the third quarter, and working on the Cleveland Browns defense is Kenny Stabler. Sam Rutigliano started his coaching career in high school in Brooklyn, Greenwich, Connecticut. Matter, he was a coach and one of our cameramen, Drew LaRosa, up at Greenwich High School.
Didn't help our cameraman.
What's that? LaRosa? Drew would understand.
Yeah, Drew.
We've talked it over on many a late night. First and 10. Campbell. And Campbell nailed there at the 35-yard line, held to a gain of 3. It'll be second and 7.
What was it that Bum Phillips said last year when finally Pittsburgh had won again, and it was Pittsburgh that would go to the Super Bowl? Next year, he said, we've gotten up to that door, and next year we're going to bust it down. The Houston team has that capacity.
Well, they bust it down last week. So that's 31-17.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, they said the steel door is closed.
Stabler brings Campbell up in the middle of play action. Almost picked off by Robert Jackson. Boy, rather Dick Ambrose. Right in his hands.
It's not a well-thrown pass. He had the receiver coming in deep, and Renfro he's trying to get to, I believe, in there, or maybe it was Johnson. The ball was thrown just a little bit too straight. There was Johnson, and Ambrose had it. He says, wait a minute. Golly, where's that ball?
That's a tough break for Cleveland. And Ambrose held on to that ball. Once again, Cleveland would have benched, but not broken.
Third down, 7. Carpenter in motion.
No backs in the backfield that time.
Snake strong arms it, completes the ball. It will depend upon whether they mark it or not at the first down. It was Billy Johnson. He was bringing himself back of his own volition, but he was also hit. I think he's going to get the first.
I believe he is too.
Yes, it sure looks like it. And Stabler is a wizard. He has no mobility, and yet somehow he got out there, rolled left, and got the pass off.
It's an interesting offensive formation in that he really had no backs in the backfield. He had them all up in different slots, sent them out. They're not a minute. They're moving the thing back around. Looks like that Robert Jackson is back in there, and he's causing a little Robert doesn't mind talking to you. You know what I mean? Bum, put that hat back on. What is it?
Yeah, Bum is really upset.
The hat's all right.
I think they're changing it, I think properly so. Billy Johnson had to come way back for it. The contact was not made.
Let's see if we can pick it up here. Johnson was coming back. Now, the idea is his momentum has to be...
That's taking him inside the 30. They had to be at the 31 for the first.
Yeah, but his momentum
at the 30-yard
back
line.
there.
They marked it at the point where he was hit.
I think it's a good call.
Now Houston has to go for this because Tony Fritz doesn't have the long range. We just talked about this earlier.
When you were back, where was it in Brooklyn you played, where you would go for that fake into the line and throw deep?
No, I never did that.
Oh.
I threw a lateral.
A lateral. The old Statue of Liberty play.
And Howard did not have Campbell. Campbell.
First down.
Was surging in there behind Carl, Mark, Fisher, and Carter, the guards. Earl will know he's been in a ball game tonight. He's ran well, but he has been hit hard also. Now he's limping off again, holding his left side. We'll have another measurement. Campbell now 18 carries, 105 yards, and they've been brutal yards.
He's got it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love Bob. Bob says he may not be in a class by himself, but it sure don't take long to call a roll.
He's got a million of them.
I love it, yeah. They just barely made it as right, but they made it. A friend of mine, Sam Blair, has written a book on Earl called The Driving Force. And so many things about her. Look at that. The rest of the team, 18 yards, Earl 105. But there's so many nice stories about Earl and his family, and his mom, and his brothers and stuff like that. In Houston, in Tyler, they really were good folks, worked hard. Everybody in Tyler liked it.
The first down inside the 29-yard line, reverse to Billy Johnson, and he has blockers in front of him.
And that white shoe.
White shoes down to the 23 and hit there by Tom Garden. He read it from free safety and got back into position to hold the game to about 6 yards. Flag is down.
You talk about a clothesline tackle. Frank Tom
Going to go against Houston.
74, offense, first down.
Big Leon Gray over the left side.
National
All
League
pro.
Finals. Cincinnati hanging in there. Both Houston and the Dodgers have lost. They are tied. Cincinnati 4.5 behind. No, that's wrong. They're 4.5. They're in the stand.
It is wrong.
All right, the ball at the 39-yard line. The down remains the same. First down and 21. Stabler. This is Wilson. And Wilson upended at the 32-yard line. Dick Ambrose over there defensively for the Cleveland Browns. It'll be second down and 14.
I've always felt that the middle part of the defense was very vulnerable. Kenny's got tight end and Mike Barber, and on the other side you've got Ozzie Houston, maybe one of the top 3 or 4 tight ends in the business. I'm surprised that Kenny hasn't gone down the middle any more than he has, and I think Barber's caught a couple. Oops, we see another guy coming off. That has to be Clay Matthews. Clay's a guy out of Southern Cal in his 3rd year, and we're expecting high things from. He is filled in, but maybe not as spectacularly as the Browns had hoped.
They bring in Don Good, recently acquired.
He can play from San Diego.
I was going to mention that, from San Diego a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, the Browns have been concerned about their outside cornerbacks.
They're the correct standings in the National League. Okay.
Second down, 14, 32-yard line of the Cleveland Browns.
Frank, I think you made a great point earlier during the timeout. I don't know why they don't use Castor as a wide receiver.
Quick count by Stabler. He loves it. A lot of time, no one open. This is Wilson. And Wilson dropped for a loss back to the 37-yard line. You guessed it, Robert Jackson. He's turned this crowd on tonight defensively. He has been everywhere.
Now, Houston is out of Fritz's field goal range. Stabler must must pick up the yardage that can put Fritz within that range on this down, or else.
It looks as if they brought a play in from the sideline, which is slightly unusual for Stabler. He usually calls his own plays, but
If he doesn't like it, he won't use it.
that's true.
3rd and 19. Ronnie Coleman, single setback for the Rob Carpenter. Johnson in motion. And you saw movement by Houston. If it's complete, this will be brought back. It's not.
Defensive interference from under there. Flag down.
It's going to be offsetting penalties.
Clinton Burrell on Cleveland Browns came into that nickel defense. More than I think he will be called for defensive pass interference.
With 1:16 remaining in the 3rd quarter, that's the score. Gathering of the group out there, and we'll get the call in a moment.
As they talk this over, Frank, which should be offsetting penalties, let's wait for the call here.
Offside, offense, pass interference, defense. Waving it off until 3rd down.
And 19.
You mentioned that Ronnie Coleman came in. There's Tony Fritz waiting on the sidelines, but he's got to get closer for him to be effective. Ronnie Coleman is to Houston what Preston Pearson has been to Dallas, only not quite as good.
Yes, he has. He has good hands. 37-yard line of the Browns. 3rd down, 19. Stabler wants to move it into Tony Fritz's range.
Go down the middle. Go to that tight end. Intercept.
Intended for Coleman. And taken away. Tom Garden.
What a great punt.
41st career interception for the Cleveland Browns at the 2-yard line. Flag is down back where it would look to be holding against Houston. And the Oilers themselves walking off the field. So we'll wait for the call.
And this could be an interesting call, Frank.
Holding against Houston and declined by Cleveland.
I don't know that I would have declined that. They've got the ball on the 1-yard line.
I agree with you.
And you put them back 10 more yards. They would have had about 30 yards to go for a first down.
Well, they're out there talking it over again, but somebody already has declined.
I think that would not necessarily be a good decision, just because they're really in the hole now. And the odds of them getting the ball on the 1-yard line are not too good.
What you're saying, it would take the penalty, it would still have been third down.
Yeah, but it'd be 3rd down, but it ought to be 3rd down at about 30-something.
Who's the number?
1:08 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Holding offense. The penalties want to be accepted.
Yeah.
You're right. They will take the penalty. They will back the Houston Oilers up 5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 24.
Don is absolutely right. No matter what happens, even if Houston should make the yardage, Don is right.
Well, it's so rare. Let's talk about it for a while.
Wait a minute. If they make the yardage, Don will be wrong.
No, he will still be right. Only that the only point is that Don is doing it here and now and doesn't have the luxury of 20/20 hindsight.
All right.
The way some of my best friends do.
Holding 7-0. Offense, 3rd down.
Conway Hayman holding. They had accepted the Tom Darden interception at the 3. They changed their minds. So it'll be 3rd down and 29. The ball close to midfield.
Also, this is a 3rd down and long, but you got to put some pressure on those guys again. They're going to get back. There they are, too. They're not going to that nickel. They're going to the regular defense.
They're looking at blitz. Here come the linebackers. Please. Stabler to Barber. Barber needs a bunch to give Fritz a shot. Get to the 35-yard line. Stabler held it a long time and paid for it. Kyle Alzado gave him a pop.
I see a flag back
Flag
there.
is down. He may have hit him late.
He could have.
Yes, roughing the passer.
Now there's a turn of events that made Don not right, because you had another play. Now they're going to have a first down back there.
You were still
right. I got to tell you, yeah.
But I know a writer somewhere in this country who can now tell you that you're wrong.
No.
And he'll have the time to write it.
Let's get the call.
passer, 7-7 defense, first down.
Lyle Alzado in late on Kenley Stabler. First down, Houston Oilers, 20-yard line. 52 seconds now remaining in the third quarter.
And Frank, an absurd penalty committed by Alzado, a veteran, a great player who long ago should have known better.
His second one, he was offside earlier, too. That's maybe a bigger mistake than roughing the passer. You don't go to the ball and snap.
Carpenter inside the 20 to the 18. A gain of a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Bitterly fought game. It really is. The Cleveland Browns, who were blown out of the tub. I mean, they were annihilated a week ago by New England. Even though the score was 34-17, they got those 2 touchdowns late in the game. They just weren't in it, and they have come back to battle Houston to 10-7 as we head into the fourth quarter. Second down 8. Carpenter behind Tim Wilson. Carpenter pounded out of bounds, short of the first down. Down around the 12-yard line. Don Good went over to make the stop. There's the end of the third quarter. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. We'll return for the fourth quarter in just a moment. Stay with us. We're back in Cleveland. Huge crowd. 80,000 have shown up tonight. Houston Oilers have the football as we begin the fourth quarter. Third down and 1. The ball at the inside the 12-yard line. Houston dominating possession of the football here in the second half.
I just saw a sight for the first time in a long time. I wonder if they'll ever get back.
Adger Armstrong, number 39, comes in for the Oilers in their 3-back short yardage offense. That's Armstrong in motion. Rob Carpenter, he is outed. There will be no first down there. It'll be fourth down. Ambrose and Burrell up there defensively.
A pretty good indication here as you look at the third quarter stats. But he is going to give Tony Fritz a shot at it. They're about 2 yards away, 3 yards away, which I think is a good call again.
Well, lost by Rob Carpenter, Ambrose and Burrell.
Well, this is really a great break for Cleveland, and they've earned it because they'll stay in this ball game with a mere field goal vis-a-vis a touchdown.
Gifford Nielsen is a quarterback. He's the holder.
He hasn't kicked it yet, but now he has.
Fritz to the uprights, and Houston extends their lead. 13-7 over Cleveland. So Cleveland stays in it. As we begin the fourth quarter, we'll be back in a moment. Earl Campbell is on the sidelines on that 3rd and 2 call. Houston could not get the first down. They settled for a Tony Fritz field goal. They now lead 13-7. Deep to receive Fritz's kickoff, number 26, Dino Hall, and Keith Wright. It will be Keith Wright at the 12. Keith Wright again with another nice return. Going out to the 37-yard line where Adger Armstrong recently acquired. Cast off by Dallas a year ago, and he made the Oilers football team on their special teams.
But instantly, Frank, this Cleveland team has good field position. And what Don said earlier remains true. Fritz's kickoffs have been absurdly poor for a professional and give Cleveland the opportunity immediately to get back.
At the 37, Calvin Hill is in there with Mike Pruitt. The sight goes to the air. And it's complete to Reggie Rucker. And Rucker dances down the sidelines, out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Gain of 6, it'll be second and 4. Mike Reinfeld made the stop for Houston.
You know, they're trying to put Reggie Rucker in a back seat as you look at his graphic there. The man has great hands. He has great moves. They're trying to bring in their number 2 draft choice of a year ago, Willis Adams, to replace him. But there's no way at this stage of Adams' career that he can do the things Rucker, with his experience, can do.
I would sure use Ozzie Newsom if I was quarterback. Man, is he a good receiver. That tight end position.
Right, play action to the left.
bit tentative. I don't know really why. They're putting a pretty good rush on him, but really and truly, he's kept Ozzie Newsome in the block most of the night. And I think Newsome, along with Logan, are two of the really top receivers in the league right now. Reggie Rucker, of course, as you mentioned, Howard, has had some great years here. Kind of surprised a lot of folks. Didn't think he would make it in the league. He's had a great career. He's got some really good outside receivers. But Ozzie Newsome is a guy that, boy, they don't have very many of those. He's got him split right now. He probably will be in this pass battle.
Right there at the bottom of your screen, number 82 on third down and 4. Going for Rucker again, deflected away by J.C. Wilson. It'll be fourth down, and Cleveland will punt.
I want to pay tribute to J.C. Wilson.
Do it.
He has played some game tonight, Don.
J.C. has done a good job. He really has. You see a lot of times, they'll throw in that area. We'll talk about defensive back. A lot of times the offense, their plan was to work over on that side. They don't want to go over to the other side. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. Whatever their plan was, J.C. has been equal to the task.
Here's Donnie Evans, and here's Carl Roaches. Roaches at his 13-yard line. All right. Donnie Evans, it doesn't turn over, and Roaches will have the chance from the 20. Gets to the 22. Good special teams coverage there by the Cleveland Browns. Hustling down there was Bill Coher. So we have 13:29 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And when we come back, Houston will have the football at their own 23-yard line. Earl Campbell on the sideline, surprisingly so. He really has not gotten the action. He is not being treated by any of the trainers, not being administered to, but he does appear from time to time as we look down on the field to be in a little bit of pain. We'd like to report what the problem was, but we just don't know. But he stays out. Rob Carpenter, single set back for the Oilers. First down and 10. The ball at the 22-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Here comes Carpenter. Gets to the inside, nothing doing there. Goes to the outside, nothing doing there. Don Good makes a stop. Maybe a loss of a yard. It'll be second down and 11.
You got to remember the pattern of the Cleveland Browns. As you just looked at Don Good, a first-rate linebacker who in San Diego's plethora of linebackers couldn't survive, but he can play. Cleveland only needs one break, and they're the kind of team off last year that can capitalize.
It's now Coleman, 47, and Tim Wilson, 45. The setback for the Oilers, second down and 11. Coleman gets the call in a big opening, and Coleman up for a first down out to the 34-yard line, up into there by Oliver Davis.
That was a big hole. That thing opened up really well over on the left side.
And that man can do a lot of things, Don. He is indeed the Preston Pearson of the Houston Oilers.
That was Leon Gray and David Carter's side of that Oiler offense, and they opened up a pretty big hole over there. Ripped in there in pretty good shape.
Renfro, 82. Johnson, 84. Wide receivers at the top of your screen on first and 10. Ronnie Coleman gets the call. Gets maybe 3 out of it. It's second down and 7 out to the 37-yard line.
The only report we've gotten, Frank, and I've just received it, on Campbell still being on the sidelines is he did lose a portion of his bridge. But I don't see the relevancy to the absence of his presence on the gridiron.
I'm sure there is a problem.
Of course.
I'm sure it's not his tooth.
Bridge.
Second down, 7. Carpenter, a little delayed play, nothing doing, and down goes Carpenter. Marshall Harris was in there first. Marshall Harris, we told you throughout the telecast, filling in for an injured Jerry Shirk tonight. There he is, first-year man out of TCU, 8th-round draft pick a year ago with the Jets. They released him. He started tonight.
There's no way you can measure the importance of the absence of Jerry Shirk. He is the key to the whole Cleveland defense. A great veteran and himself a tremendous story. We'll get to that when we have time.
Ronnie Coleman comes in. Number 47, like Rob Carpenter, number 26, a good receiver. Third down, 7. Stable to the air. Carpenter, he'll get the first down. And Leon Gray running right side by side with Carpenter defensively for Cleveland.
Good move by Carpenter. It's one of those situations where the screen that you see trying to be set up here, ordinarily these screens are set up to be led to the outside. Carpenter saw a little cut back to the inside. It opened up. And he says, I'm not going to wait on anybody. He was trying to get, big Leon Gray was trying to get out in front of him, and Rob wouldn't wait. He said, I can't wait on Leon. I got to go. Picked up the first down.
At the 45-yard line of the Browns. Houston ahead of Cleveland, 13-7 in an AFC Central game. Here comes Carpenter. This time he takes it to the outside and picks up about 4. It'll be second down and 6. It was Tom Darden defensively for Cleveland on this play.
Seems to me, maybe it's just the last 2 or 3 plays, but Darden has been tackling everybody pretty high. What do you think he does that? They usually tell those defensive backs to come in and try to clip them around the knees, but Darden kind of hits them up there around shoulder length.
Well, he's concerned about the rules.
Rules?
The rules.
What does that mean?
Got to be careful about hitting a guy low these days.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Second and 6. 41-yard line, Cleveland Browns. Inside 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Stabler tried to go to Barber, checked off, hit Billy Johnson. He has it for a first down at the 27. I'll tell you, that's Stabler at his vintage best. He looked to Barber, he wasn't there, came over the middle and hit Billy Johnson.
He's an artist. He's a surgeon at work. Really great. Meantime, there is no Jerry Shirt. For years, All-Pro, number 72 with Cleveland. Had several knee surgeries, then struck down not too many months ago by a staph infection that hit him in the knee, and he almost died. Rest of the story in a moment.
On first down, this is Ronnie Coleman, another big opening up the middle. Inside the 20 goes Coleman. Gain of 8.
Now Stabler's doing 2 things. He's eating up the clock. He's using a possession and control offense. And at the same time, he is ripping them apart because the Cleveland defense has been out there a long time this half, and they're afflicted with fatigue.
Well, they are. He's also taking advantage of some Henry Bradley in there at defensive tackles. Some young guys in that Cleveland defensive line. They're not used to this.
Second down, long 2. Ronnie Coleman flips it, goes down. He'll lose a couple out to the 21-yard line. Meanwhile, Earl Campbell continues to pace the sidelines. Nothing apparently wrong with him, but he has not been playing much here in the second half at all. Has not been involved in this drive whatsoever.
But they are now within Fritch's range gift, and a field goal at this point with 8 minutes left is as good as a touchdown.
There was a loss of 3, so it'll be third down and 5. The ball at the 21-yard line. Ronnie Coleman comes in, 47. Carpenter, 26. They're both good receivers. Castor is in there, tight end, number 88. Draw play. Carpenter. Nailed. Close to the 15. He'll be close to a first down.
You think Carpenter can't play, Don? Look out.
Well, he did a good job there because that was a little delayed draw, bounced out to the outside. He's a good guy to have on your side. He really is.
That's Don Coryell. He saw enough of him.
First down.
First down. That is an important first down. Tough on the Cleveland Browns. The clock will continue to move in favor of the Oilers now. They have a 13-7 lead. They can put it away from a touchdown. Comeback by the Browns with another field goal. Mike Barber comes back in at tight end, number 86 for the Oilers. Wilson is in there, 45. Ronnie Coleman, number 47. Those are setbacks. On first down, Stabler fires to Barber. It's complete, and Barber tries to struggle free. He cannot do so. They'll mark it at the 9-yard line. A gain of 8. It'll be second down and 2.
There's Kenny Burrow right there, exhorting his mates on. It's a pity he's got to stay out 4 weeks, Frank, because he said he thinks he'll be ready to go in 2.
They said it wasn't as bad as they thought. They had it in cast. They took that off yesterday. I guess it was. Stretched ligaments, and says he feels fine. Sam Bertigliano in a tough division, this AFC Central.
Oh.
Second down and 2. On the 8-yard line, and here comes Wilson, and Wilson just pulling his way towards the goal line. The big man at 6'3" and 220 pounds gets inside the 2.
Again, they're doing a pretty good job on that left side. I mentioned it a moment ago, but the big runs, they've come over to that side. And old Wilson has come in. He doesn't pick up a lot of the yardage. We talked about him as a blocker for this man, Earl. And when Earl's not there...
They're doing it without Earl.
I've just got a feeling Earl is...
You know how the Houston fight song goes?
Do I know?
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Houston has the Oilers. They're the greatest football team. They take the ball from goal to goal. They're the best you've ever seen.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Great Oiler. Bob Carpenter. There's no indication that he crossed the goal plane. He did not. It'll be second down and goal. Adger Armstrong is the third man, number 39, in that 3-man offensive back set of the Houston Oilers. Armstrong released by the Cowboys a year ago and recently acquired by Houston. Ball right at the 1-yard line. 5:35 remaining in the game, and the clock is ticking. 14th play of this drive coming up. Carpenter 26, Wilson 45, Armstrong 39. Carpenter, and again no indication that he broke the plane.
Well, I thought he did that time.
Yeah, I thought he was in there cleanly.
He didn't fumble, did he?
I think there'd have been much more commotion had he fumbled.
Boy, does that face register a lot. Sam Bertigliano.
Now mark it right at the goal line.
About as close as you can get it.
And it'll be third down. Meanwhile, the seconds tick away.
I saw David Carter, the big right left guard, go out. And Bob Young, number 63, came in a moment ago. He's in that lineup. He's a big one that's been around for a while. Let's see if they go over him. Number 63. Nope.
Carpenter again, and he does not get in. This time you knew that he didn't, and it's going to be fourth down. And I believe no matter how close you are, you have to take the 3 points. And that would mean Tony Fritz, but let's wait and see.
You've got to give credit to this Cleveland team.
You bet.
What a performance.
This also tells you the value of Earl Campbell.
Yep.
They tried earlier on a third and very short yardage. They failed when they needed control of the ball. They tried down here now on 3 different occasions. Without the big man, they were unable to get in.
You saw Kenny walk past Earl. He says, "Where were you, Earl?"
Tony Fritz is out for the field goal. Sam Bertigliano has to be proud of the defensive effort.
He sure does. And I think you saw it in his face. There is still a slight vestige of hope. Maybe it'll be a bad snap. Maybe Fritz will miss it.
They were a little bit too close. They want to get back a little bit further. I think he took it on purpose. Absolutely. The game penalty.
Could well be. I'll back it up.
Time 4:17.
Of course, Cleveland can decline the penalty.
That's true. No, delay of the game. No, I guess they did.
They did.
I thought that was an automatic.
Delay offense. The distance penalty is being declined.
So Tony will have to kick it from there whether he likes it or not. Nielsen, the holder.
I'd call timeout, bring in Earl.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We'll show you.
I'd say, wait a minute. Oh, you don't want me to kick her back here? Watch this. Timeout. Come here, Earl. Wham.
Well, after all the strategy, Fritz puts it through the uprights and moves Houston out over the Cleveland Browns 16-7. 4:14 remaining in the game. piece of real estate coming up for the Cleveland Browns when we come back. That's the story from Cleveland Stadium before 80,000 Cleveland fans. Oilers out on top 16-7. Tony Fritz set the kickoff. He just hit a chip shot to put the Oilers more than a touchdown away from a Cleveland Brown comeback. Deep for Cleveland, 26 is Dino Hall. Keith Wright, number 89. Set to go. There are the deep men. Fritz dribbles it along the ground. Taken there by Dino Hall, and Dino Hall explodes out to the 30-yard line, where Cleveland needs to make something happen. Brian Sight not having a tremendous night. The Browns will have the ball first and 10 of their own 30-yard line. And a reminder, over the weekend, there is some indication there's a possibility for change in the hostage situation in Iran. Tomorrow, the Iranian parliament is scheduled to begin its long-awaited debate on the hostages. And tonight, immediately following your local news, ABC News Nightline will explore whether there is any movement in the hostage crisis. That's Nightline over most of these ABC stations. Calvin Hill is in there with Mike Pruitt. Calvin Hill, of course, a fine receiver. Sight complete to Logan. Logan's second reception of the night. It's good for a first down out to the 43.
It's like they're going in a 2-minute offense with 4 minutes to go.
Well, they need a touchdown and then some, so that's fairly wise at this point.
All right, if he doesn't use Ozzie Newsome, I'm going to be upset. I tell you, Ozzie Newsome's a heck of a receiver in that middle. And Logan out on one side and Rucker on the other.
Brian has not had a great night.
On first down. Tight, forced out of the pocket. Has to hurriedly unload it in the general direction of Logan. Stops the clock with 3:27. It'll be second down and 10. It was Andy Doris, number 69, pressuring Sight. Offensively, the Browns have struggled. They struggled through the preseason. And they were completely overwhelmed a week ago by the New England Patriots. Losing there 34-17, but losing even bigger than the score would indicate. They just have not been able to put the offense that they had a year ago back together this far early in 1980. On second and 10. Sight, a wobbler to Logan, but it's complete. The flag is down. Logan is down at the 44. That's a Brown first down.
Sure is a big target coming in from that outside out there. Big Dave Logan.
Holding 32 defense. The penalties decline. First down.
And of course, Vernon Perry of the Oilers.
What you said about Cleveland's offense was true, Frank, but I've got to respect the goal line stand they just put on, and I respect that coach, too. The whole staff. They'll be heard from.
And I respect the division they're in.
Oh, it's brutal. It really is. Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland.
Penalty, of course, declined. The first down is inside the 45-yard line of the Oilers. 3:20 remaining in the game. The Browns have their 3 timeouts. They're going with their hurry-up offense early on. Oh, and I think that hit J.C. Wilson on the foot or the leg. He was shocked.
Once again, J.C. Wilson. How many times have you seen that number tonight in Frank Collins?
12.
14.
Well, I respect you guys for respecting these things.
Second down and 10.
Wise guy.
Sight has Reggie Rucker, 33. Ozzie Newsome, 82. Dave Logan, 85. Out to the left. Ozzie Newsome now split wide from his tight end position. Very top of your screen. Logan goes right with Rucker in the slot. Fires over the middle and complete. Intended there for Reggie Rucker. Good coverage.
That was good coverage.
Brazil was back there. Wilson went with him.
3rd and 10.
That tells a little bit of the story.
Yep.
But he has not had that many opportunities as Houston has played solid, slow, ball control football here in the second half.
Kenny Stabler football.
3rd and 10. Newsom again, split out to the left. He attracts Greg Stemrick defensively out there. Stemrick moves right up on him. You can see the top of your screen. Movement on the part of the Browns offensive line. Looked like Cody Rising.
I believe that's right.
Rised up.
When you're 6'7", it's hard to hide out there when you jump offside.
Another way of telling the story of the second half, Frank, is the fact that Cleveland has only had 11 plays in the whole half. Offensive.
There's Cody. 7th round pick. Made the all-rookie team a year ago. Became a starter for the Browns after 6 games as part of the offensive unit that helped Brian Seif to his best year ever. That makes it 3rd down and 15.
False start, moving before the snap. 63, offense, 3rd down.
3:08 on the clock now. Cleveland needs one on this drive.
They need something on this play.
They try Newsom. Bottom of your screen to the right this time. Rucker and Logan split to the left. Seif fires. Picked off. Should be Vernon Perry. No, it is not. Hey, Jack Tatum, who comes in as the 5th man, but Vernon Perry was right there with him. So Jack Tatum, acquired in the offseason for some draft picks from the Oakland Raiders, comes up with a big play for Houston.
Just really the good defensive coverage. They were all over him. Brian tries to force it in there, and sure enough, Tatum does have hands where he can catch it.
So Brian Seif tried to force one in. Jack Tatum comes up with his 2nd interception of the season. We'll be back in a moment. And a 7th round draft pick from Oakland. Houston has the football. They give it to Ronnie Coleman. Coleman working on the left side and also on the clock. Picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
In my book, this will be his last year because he no longer has the coverage that he used to be able to.
This is the story of this game. Houston has just kept the football. 2nd down and 8. Oilers have the ball. 41-yard line. Ronnie Coleman to the right side. Following Big Wilson. And he's piled up there, moving up quickly with Ron Fulton, number 28.
Pretty good action over there just then. Not giving up on this game at all.
Gain of about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Well, if he can finally take the Oilers past the Steelers of course, have knocked the Oilers out of the AFC Championship the last 2 years, well, Stabler might well be nominated. 3rd down and 5 for the Oilers. The ball inside their own 45-yard line. 2:37 remaining to be played in this game. The Browns have 1 timeout remaining. Stabler will not turn it over. He gives the ball to Coleman. He has the 1st down. Down the 46-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. That hurts. Having a Kenny Stabler night. We'll be back to look at many game films for the Cleveland Browns.
40 plays is an unusually low number.
1st down, Houston, close to the 45 of the Cleveland Browns. Wilson gets the call, hurdles over his line of scrimmage down to the 40 for a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 as we head to the 2-minute warning.
As you look at this game in perspective, there's a point to be made. And that point is, before we break for a moment, that pro football is now a game of strength. Put aside all your computerization and all the rest, and Houston is a team of strength. They are huge, they are strong, they dominate. We'll be right back.
Certainly, the Houston Oilers in solid possession of the football. They've had it all night. They have a 2nd down and 4. The ball at the 40-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Time running out as Wilson takes it up the middle. The Browns can't. And we will be in Philadelphia next Monday night for the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles against the Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Oilers continue to work on the clock with a commanding 16-7 lead. They give the ball to Ronnie Coleman. It'll be 4th down and short. And want to remind you again, stay tuned for ABC News Nightline coming your way 30 minutes after this telecast is over at 11:30.
Not a lot of yards necessarily. 178. That's a good night, but not a great night as far as yardage is concerned. But he did control the ball.
Cliff Parsley will punt for Houston. Deep is Keith Wright for the Cleveland Browns. Wright bobbles it, takes it at the 5.
And didn't get out of it.
Well, they stopped the clock on change of teams, change of possession. So we have 15 seconds. And the Browns down 16. The Bengals twice. Plus they have to face Seattle, Kansas City, Tampa, Denver, New England, Chicago, the Jets, Green Bay. They play the Bengals twice. They play the Steelers twice. This is a tough division, the AFC Central. Sight fires to Newsom. There you are, Don.
I've been waiting for him to throw to Newsom all night. I'm telling you, he's a good receiver.
They will not get another play off.
He'll not catch another.
And that's it. Once again, the final score, Houston defeating Cleveland 16-7. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.